What's up, legends? Benchmark Bets is back, and we're locked in with 2 NBA picks. But that's not all. I'm going to take you through some leans that I like on today's slate. So buckle up, I've done the homework. Let's hit these and stack these wins. Alright, before we get into today's picks, let's do a quick recap on the last NBA video. We went 2-0. Sweet baby. Both picks are absolute sweat-free winners. We had Denny Avdia over 26.5 points. He cruised past that line with ease, never in doubt. Then we had Conti Nipple over 16.5 points. Another clean cash. No sweat, no stress. And as always, when the free picks do well, premium usually follows. Premium finished the day up 2.25 units with 2 winners and 2 losers. And if you want access to all my premium plays, the Discord link is in the description. Alrighty, let's get into today's picks. So, for the first pick, I'm looking into the Nuggets versus the 76ers game, and I'm going with Joel Embiid over 25.5 points. So, from first glance, the hit rate doesn't look too good. Only over in the last 6 out of 16 games, averaging 22.8 points. But it's not about the hit rate. It's about the defensive position. So, in the last 15 games, the Nuggets are giving up the second most points to mid-range opportunities and are middle of the pack for points in the paint, where Embiid loves to score his points from. So, when you filter out the best defensive teams for these mid-range opportunities, he's over this line in 2 out of 3 games, averaging 31 points. On top of that, similar players to First and Nuggets recently have gone over their line in 4 out of 6 games with a 19% average difference. Also, the Nuggets are without Jokic in this game, so there's definitely going to be a mismatch between Embiid and De'Aaron Holmes. So I can see Embiid easily exploiting this matchup and going over with ease. So, for the second pick, I'm going to the Jazz versus the Blazers game, and I'm going with Lauri Markkanen over 26.5 points. Markkanen loves to score from free throws and from transition plays, where the Blazers give up the 3rd most free throws and the 3rd most transition points. When you filter out the best defensive teams for transition plays, he's over this line in 6 out of 8 games, averaging 27.5 points. Also, when you filter out the points in the paint, the most defensive teams against that, he's over this line in 100% of the games, averaging 35.4 points. So, definitely see Markkanen having a very strong game here. Could even play the 35 plus points in this one. So, that's it for the 2 main players I'm liking. Now let's go through the leans. So, let's go to the first game. The Knicks versus the Pistons. And I'm going with 2 fringe players here. The first one I'm going with is Ron Holland over 3.5 rebounds. Some bookies have 3.5, some bookies have 4.5. If you can't get 3.5, I'd maybe stay away, but this should be alright. In his last 10 games, he's been smashing this. Over in 9 out of the last 10 games, averaging 6.1 rebounds from 8.9 rebound chances. Also, he loves to get his rebounds from offensive rebounds, where over the last 15, the Knicks are giving up the 7th most rebounds to. Also, previous players have gone over their line in 10 out of the last 15 games with a 22% average difference. I'm expecting Ron Holland to be defending one of the least usage guys for the second unit of the Knicks, giving him easy opportunities to grab those boards. And for the second pick, I'm going with Javonte Green over 6.5 points. So pretty much exactly the same reason as for the Ron Holland play. Over his last 10 games, he's over this line in 7 out of 10 times, averaging 7.3 points. Not only that, the Knicks give up a lot of points to spot-up shooting and transition shooting, where Green scores 60% of his points. This one here could be a nice little ladder play, playing over 6.5 and also playing the 10 points. 10 points should definitely be plus money. Look at these hit rates. Been getting close, getting those shots in. Should definitely see opportunity and definitely should get close to these points, especially being the main guy for the second unit. So that's pretty much it for the Knicks and the Pistons game. Let's look at the Bulls versus the Celtics. And I've got another two plays here that I'm liking. First one is Anthony Simons over 12.5 points. So the Bulls pretty much leak points in general, especially to the 3-point line, where Simons scores 55% of his points from. He also thrives on catch and shoot plays, where he scores 39% of his points from, and the Bulls give up the 9th most points. His 3-points line is pretty juicy at the moment, so the bookies are expecting him to get 2 3-pointers. So when he's made at least 2 3-pointers in the game, he's over this line in 14 out of 21 games, averaging 15.1 points. Another ladder play I could see here, playing the 12.5 and also playing the 15. Could even play the 20 for a sneaky little play, especially with the 11.5 handicap line for the Celtics. Couldn't see a lot more minutes from him today. Simons over 12.5 and also playing the 15 and 20 if you're game for it. And for the second play, I'm liking Derek White over 5.5 assists. So the hit rate doesn't look the best. However, the Bulls are giving up the 9th most assists. So when you filter out the most defensive teams for assists, he's over this line in 7 out of 9 games, averaging 6.3 assists. However, my only concern is that the Bulls give up most of the assists near the basket and not as many from the 3-point line. But Derek White loves to get his assists near the basket. So it's like a plus negative, that one is. You could even do a little parlay for this one, doing White for 4 assists, Jaylen Brown for 25 points, and Simons for 10 points. Should give you a plus money parlay, definitely, or close to it. Nice little value spot there. So that's pretty much it for the Bulls and the Celtics game. I had nothing in the Hawks and the Raptors. Obviously, you got to look at players like Brandon Ingram and Jalen Johnson and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I feel like Jalen Johnson has a nice scoring game, but assists and rebounds will be pretty close. So let's see what the lines are for them, actually. 9.5 assists and 10.5 rebounds. You could definitely play the under in his rebounds and assists and over in his points. That could be a nice little play. Nickeil Alexander-Walker for 20.5 points. They did play recently. He did score 31. However, I don't see him being as efficient in this one, especially with the Raptors changing the game up. Wouldn't stay with that. And then Brandon Ingram is just one of those guys where you don't know who's going to score for the Raptors, especially with Barrett and Barnes and Quickly all having scoring abilities. I wouldn't go with that. However, being a important game, I can see Brandon Ingram going over his points here, but no good leans that I'm liking in this one. The Suns versus the Rockets. I was looking at Tari Eason over 6.5 rebounds. However, does have a pretty hard game for rebounds today, especially over the last 15. They're not allowing many rebounds, only the 12th fewest rebounds in the league. So even if you filter out that, the hit rate doesn't look that good. But the main reason why I do like it is because he's been rebounding like a beast recently, averaging about 10 rebound chances and getting about 8 rebounds. So his rebounds to rebound chances ratio is pretty high, and I don't see him defending one of the main guys. I expect Thompson to be on Booker, Durant to mostly play on Dylan Brooks, and he'll mostly play, Tari Eason will mostly play on Grayson Allen or Colin Gillespie, who won't see as much opportunity. Adams will be defending out Mark Williams, so it's between Thompson and Eason to get the rebounds. So yeah, was very close to making this a lean, but not anymore. Next one, Hornets versus the OKC. Don't really like touching anyone from the OKC because Shea just literally scores like 90% of their points. So, and he usually gets to 30 and then just drops out. He also scored only 25 against the Suns. They played like shit. You can see a bounce back game here for him, but 31.5 for a negative 16 handicap line. He needs to score that at least in 3 quarters. So yeah, you could look at his first quarter points. That's always good. 9.5, that's pretty low for him. So I can definitely see that happening. No one really on the Hornets due to all the questionables with Miller, Knipple, and also Diabate possibly not playing, so don't really want to touch this game. Next one, Nuggets versus the 76ers. Obviously have the Embiid play, but I was also liking Maxey for over 7.5 assists. Over the last 15, the Nuggets are giving up the third most assists in the league. When you filter out the best defensive teams for assists, he's over this line in 4 out of 8 games, only averaging 7.9 assists. However, he does get a lot of assists from mid-range and also near the basket, where the Nuggets leak heaps of assists too. So definitely over 7.5 assists. Also like his points line as well. So you could play his points line and his assist line overs. That should give you about a $3 odds or plus 200. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the Nuggets and 76ers. Obviously go look at VJ Edgecomb's threes. Has been smashing it recently, but it is pretty juiced. So maybe look at his points line instead at 16.5. Could be a nice little hit there. So the Jazz versus the Blazers. Expecting this game to be very, very high scoring and a lot of money to be made in this one. So I'm liking Denny Avdia over 28.5 points. Avdia loves to score from free throws and spot-up opportunities, where the Jazz give up the 4th most points to free throws and the 3rd most points to spot-up shooting. When you filter out the best defensive teams for spot-up opportunities, he's only over this line in 3 out of 12 games. However, that is due to his highest line for the season. When you look at closing lines, he's over this line in 7 out of 12 games, averaging 23.8. So bookies have increased this. However, it is a 242 game total, and I'm expecting Avdia to take at least 20 to 25 shots in this game. So Avdia for over 28.5. You could also look at his assists, 8.5. That'll be another nice little good look as well. And that's pretty much it for the Jazz and Blazers. Obviously have the Lauri Markkanen play, but that's about it that I looked at. And then for the final game for the day, the Warriors versus the Clippers, I was looking at Brandon Podziemski over 1.53s. So over the last 15, the Clippers haven't been allowing many threes due to them playing a small ball lineup with Zubac being out. However, Zubac is back, so he should drop back a lot more closer to the basket, and I could see Podziemski having some easier looks for threes today. So over the season, they are giving up the 4th most of threes. So when you filter out the best defensive teams, he's over this line in 7 out of 11 games, averaging 2.2 3-pointers per game. But yeah, that's about it for all the leans that I'm liking. If you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. And if you haven't subscribed already, suggest you subscribe so you don't miss out on daily NBA videos. Also, if you made it this far into the video, seriously, thank you. YouTube rewards watch time, and that helps push the video out to more people like you. Also, drop a comment below with your favorite prop for tomorrow or for today. Until next time, stay safe, good luck with your bets, and I'll catch you in the next one. Laters.